Hello interwebs, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. I've got a HP Omen here. I'm not sure exactly what Omen model it is, but it's a 17-W200NA for the HP product number. Anyway, this thing, we believe the battery is goosed on it. This came in earlier on today. Customer's a bit worried because, as you can see, we've got a big bulge in the body of the laptop there, which is almost certainly a bulging internal battery. If the battery on a laptop is bulging, it's got to come out. It's not going to explode or anything like that, but technically it could, kind of thing. You know, you don't need to sort of go, oh, you'll be all right, don't worry about it. However, can't leave it in there, it's got to come out. So we're going to open this thing up and we're going to pull out that battery and see about replacements. So we're currently in the midst of a well-known event that happened in the first half of 2020 for whenever you watch this. So that means that supply is a little bit awkward at the moment, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get hold of a battery right away for this thing. But obviously we can run a laptop without a battery. We can just run it directly off the mains. So I said to the client, I said, we'll just take the battery out for now. And if we can't get hold of a new one, you can just run the laptop with no battery in it for the time being, and it'll be fine. So in any case, I haven't taken one of these apart before, so I'm just going to undo everything inside, and we'll just have a look and see what's inside, really. So, alright, there's our memory bay. Not a lot of access to anything else there. Fair enough. I should double check this thing is actually turned off, I suppose. Where is the power light? Does it have a power light? Sometimes on the side of HP's. Doesn't look like this thing has... Oh, there we go. We've got some lights there. They're all off. So, yeah. I'm going to have a quick nose and just see what's in this thing while I'm at it. I always like doing that. That's an 8GB module. So, it looks like we've got a 16GB kit in this. And because that's crucial, it looks like that's aftermarket memory. So, it looks like the customers upgraded that themselves, which is neat. Okay, let's take these other screws out. Some of these screws are quite recessed on this laptop. And because it's a HP, we need to watch out for screws being underneath the rubber feet. HP love hiding screws. So, in fact, we've got one screw hidden there. There's a little rubber grommet there. And we can tell that there should be a screw there because that one is missing. So, I'll grab a pair of sharp tweezers. Designers really want to have a nice sort of clean look on the bottom of the device. And I'm like, who cares? If you want the laptop, just put nice machined screws on it like Apple does, and that will look fine, you know. Right, that's that. Let's see if that's enough. I'll open the laptop up. And I'll use this metal prying tool just to dig round the edges of the top case here. And we'll just see if this guy wants to come off. Seems to be unclipping at the moment. Okay, right. I'm just going to try and lift up the case and have a quick peek. I need to figure out if this top case is going to come off or the bottom panel comes off. And you never know with modern laptops. It can go either way. So what I'll do is I've just put it back on its back here. And we'll just have a look in this gap I'm opening up. Right, the hard drive is clinging onto the top. Yeah, I can see the circuit board and all the contents of the laptop is holding onto the top. So I want to pull off the bottom instead of this bit. So let's just adjust things. SD card. There we go, and I'll just give it a bit of a wiggle. There we go. Oof. That's not a very happy chappy, is it? It's a very small and bulky boy. So this is a classic gaming laptop with a token gesture battery. Let's see what capacity that guy is supposed to be. Tell you what, I'm just going to close the screen actually. While I've got the bottom case off, I'm going to support the hinges from the back of the laptop with my fingers here and bend from the hinges, not from the top of the laptop. When you've got laptops open like this, if I just press down like that, I'm very likely to just break the hinges out, because with the bottom case removed, the structure of the laptop is compromised. So we're just going to push down on the hinges so we're not bending anything. There we go. And now it's back flat on the desk again. Right, let's turn that round. It's a 96 watt hour battery, so although it's sort of fairly compact, it's quite a thick boy. So yeah, that's a reasonably sized battery. Although again, you know, in gaming laptops, that's probably not worth much. So I've just disconnected it there, and we'll just undo the screws holding it in, and we can remove it. The good news is this guy looks pretty modular, so I have a suspicion we won't have too much trouble finding a replacement for it. It's just a question on whether we can get it delivered in these unprecedented times. The cable is an absolute animal to get out the way. There we go. Right, so yeah, that's a very swollen boy in there. I'm not sure what the distribution of cells will be like in this thing. We could pop it open and just have a quick nosy inside. I think I might do that just for the sake of this video, because, as I say, we're not going to do much else with this thing. While we're here, I'll just have a quick nosy in the laptop. Quite a simple layout inside. We've got a hard drive over here. We've got an M.2 SSD over here. And that is an M-type connector, so it will take NVMe drives. Then we've got 2 fans, plenty of heat piping going on. I quite like the cooling on this thing. Fair bit of dust in here, but that would be easy to remove just by cleaning it up, so no worries there. Lots of cooling on all the VRMs. I quite like the design of that actually, that's not half bad. Long-time viewers will know that I don't like HP. However, the modern Omen laptops, they do seem to have actually, you know, put in the required effort that it takes with these. It's actually got not awful Wi-Fi on it as well, which makes a big difference. That's Intel Wi-Fi there. And HP have a nasty habit of really skimping on Wi-Fi. So yeah, pretty good. The speakers don't look like they're anything to write home about, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you're on a laptop, you're probably using headphones anyway, I would expect. Not bad. Okay, let's take a look at this battery. Well, this guy really didn't want to come open. I sort of gave a good old... I put a good effort into it, and I could not get any purchase into the gap around that. And because there's nothing to find in here, so I'm not going to bother doing anything. I'm not going to take tools to it or anything like that. So instead, I'll just show you another example of what we would have found if we did open it. This is another failed battery. This is a MacBook Air battery, and this is actually brand new. This was a Duff one that I purchased. It actually showed up in the post, very similar to this. So as you can see, that is a massively inflated LiPo cell. And this is what we'll find in there. And these things can inflate with enormous pressure inside them, which is why it's got the strength to bulge out a plastic case like that. It's an immense amount of pressure that these things can build. And this one is actually partially venting as well, which is also very dangerous. You can actually see there that this one has, wow, look at that. This is actually expanded with enough force to tear its own connections off. I can actually pull that out. So yeah, it's actually torn its own connectors off of the rest of the battery. So yeah, this guy's not a happy chappy, and I can tell it's venting because you can smell the gas coming out of it. The smell they give off, it's a very acidic, it's a sharp acidic smell. It almost smells like apples. If you imagine a really sharp, tangy apple smell, that's actually what you'll get from these. So if you smell that sharp, appley tang in the air, that's a venting LiPo cell. So It's nasty stuff. You don't really want to breathe it in. So in a moment, because I've just taken this out of the bag that I had it in, and immediately I was just like, "Whew, there we go," you know. So I'm going to open all the doors and windows in a second, air out the room. But yeah, this is what we would find inside this casing batch. In short, this is let me see. It's an 11.5 volt battery, which means it's likely a 3-cell battery. I would expect it might have 3 cells in it, like that maybe, and probably in pairs. So there's probably 6 cells in there, wide in pairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my guessing is the top middle one here is the guy that is expanding. The other cells are probably intact, but that particular cell has failed and begun to expand. And what causes that is when the internal chemistry of the battery begins to degrade, and the electrolyte, which is the liquid inside the cell, it converts into a gas, and because the gas has a greater what's the term here? Volume. The gas expands, so it takes up more space. Therefore, the cell must expand to accommodate it, and that's why it expands like that. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you get a battery that is looking like this, don't charge it, basically. Do not charge it, because you will exasperate the issue. And that's the point where if this thing actually blows out, if it has sufficient charge in it, then there may be enough charge to create a short circuit in the battery. Short circuit creates heat. With heat you get fire, and then if the battery actually catches fire, you get a lipo fire. And that's when you get what you see, where you get laptops exploding and stuff like that. So yeah, not happy, not nice stuff. That's about it. So I'm gonna go and look online and see if we can find a new one of these. I'm gonna hit up eBay first and see what we can find there. Alright, so I've started out by searching for 853294-855, which is the HP spare number written on the battery. And that's come up with good results here. The top one is a pre-owned. Don't buy a second-hand battery. Yeah, not a good idea. This one is apparently brand new. Had a quick look at this. It's £62.50. That's probably about $70 at current exchange rate, which is terrible. So, you know, 70 or 80 bucks, that kind of money. They've got a couple of them. Doesn't, you know, it kind of looks, you know, it's like in a bag or something. However, yeah, it looks like they've got some spares. That's how they come from the factory. 0 usage cycles. So, you know, they're saying it's never been used. If I buy one of those and plug it in and I see that it's got 300 cycles on it, I'm going to send it back to them as falsely sold. They're estimating 14th of April. It's currently the 7th, so about a week. That's not bad going, to be honest. So that looks like a strong contender. What else have we got available to us? Lots of money. So we've got compatible batteries here for HP Omen. So whenever you see something that says for something, that means it's compatible with. So third party. These are a bit cheaper, £57. So that's, I don't know, $65 to $70 at current exchange rate or something like that. So yeah, that looks reasonable. I don't mind third-party batteries. You roll the dice with them. I mean, the one that I showed you here, obviously, third-party battery, not a good one. However, yeah, now and then you get a bad one and you send it back, basically. Or in this case, I got a refund on that one. It's up to you whether you want to roll the dice or not. I've never seen them actually damage the laptop, but I leave that to your discretion, in short. I take the risk, you take the risk. Cheaper ones if we order in from China, which is about right. So if we weren't in a hurry, we could order one from Hong Kong there, and that gets us down to £46. That's pretty good. And you know, if we take a look at this one here, that looks like a pretty good knockoff. It's built to look like a HP. So that might come out of the same factory. You never know. That's the interesting thing. And they're estimating later on in the month. To be honest, if I were the owner of the laptop, that's probably what I would go with. I would import it. because the chances are, you know, it's significantly cheaper and it's a 2-week wait instead of a 1-week wait. And yeah, they're going to be waiting one way or the other right now anyway. So yeah, I would probably go with that one. Have we got anything else of interest? That's about it. There's one more place I'm going to have a look as well. I'm going to check Amazon, just because Amazon is a really great place to buy batteries from. Because although, again, a lot of them are going to be third-party batteries, however, with Amazon, if there's any problems with it, you just call, you literally just contact Amazon. You say, doesn't work, give me my money back, and they just refund you. And yeah, quite more often than not, you don't even have to send the battery back, because you then turn around and say, it's a LiPo battery, no one will let me ship it. And they say, fine, we've refunded you, chuck it in the bin. So, you know. So let's see. We've got lots of options available here. They are more expensive, but again, if there's any issues with these, we can just get our money back instantly. I would rather go with the one from Hong Kong, to be honest, because it's half the price. And I will happily roll the dice to save half the money. So yeah, I would run the risk on that, but that's also an option. Some of these have got good reviews, some of these have got bad reviews. Like I say, you roll the dice. The ratings on them are all correct. You know, we've got 11.55 volts, 95.8 watt hours. There you go. I return not long later. The customer actually opted to go for the UK-based battery in the end to get it a little bit quicker, and it actually showed up quicker than I expected it to. So we now have a replacement battery, which is, I believe it's a genuine one. So yeah, I don't think it will make a huge amount of difference either which way, although, as I probably mentioned, with third-party batteries, you always roll the dice. But anywho, we've got this new one, so I'll drop this in place, and then I can just close up the laptop, and we can finish this as a how to replace your battery video. So that needs to kind of fit in there. That's not... Oh, am I going to have to remove... Oh, there we go. I just needed to kind of fit it around the speaker grill there. That was a little bit awkward, but it's now in place and all of the screw holes are lining up. So I'll leave that disconnected for a moment longer, just while I put some screws back into that. There we go. And now we've just got to repin that cable around the cable ties and kind of just mosey that back in. Which way up did it go? Where's the old battery? Here it is. Huh, this one's got a longer cable on it than the old one did. I thought that seemed a bit off. So when this happens, you've kind of got to just figure out how you can bend the cable around a little bit. So you can put bends and folds into wires like this, just try not to kink them really unpleasantly. But I've just put a fold in this direction because that's just sort of going nowhere, and I can just tuck the worst of that between the SSD and the wireless card there, and that'll be absolutely fine. Push that in, and I'm just nudging it just to make sure it doesn't jump out of its own accord, because you don't want everything under so much tension that as soon as the laptop gets moved about, it's all just going to fall out. But that seems absolutely fine to me. Good, that is fitted. I'll just route this speaker cable along the top of the battery again, as it was before. Good, and now we can put the back cover back on. I've also blown the fans out. I've used an air compressor just to clear all the dust out of that. So you can either use compressed air as I did, or 3 screws around each fan, and you can just remove the fan and just clear it manually with a paintbrush or just a toothbrush, or even just some tweezers just to pull out the hunks of dust. And that's definitely recommended. That'll help it out a lot. Fine. Right, now I'll position this on. Let me see which side sticks out more. I think the ports on the right-hand side stick out the most, so I'm going to hook over the right-hand side first and make sure that that is settled, and then we should just be able to push down on the left, and that's just gone straight over the USB ports there. And now I'm just going to go around and just press all that down into place. Don't worry about all of the lines being perfect right now. We just want to make sure that it's vaguely on. And now we'll put all the screws in, and then we'll go around it one more time just to make sure that it's settled properly. All of the screws going into the laptop are the same, except for the ones that came out of the two back corners. So all of these screws are M2 screws. However, these corner screws are M2.5 screws, M2.5, which are 0.5 mil thicker. So those are going to go into the corners, which go through the hinges. And then all the other screws are identical and can just go into any vacant screw hole. There we go. Right, now I'll just open up the laptop and I'm just going to check the lines around the edge. So you can see over here on the right, that guy's not quite in properly. So I'll just give that a squeeze between my finger and thumb. And a couple of nice clicks out of that, and now we've got a dead straight line. So I'm just going to rinse and repeat that. There's another one on the other side that also needs doing there. There we go, that's that line fixed. And everywhere else looks straight. It's all good. Right, and that's it. That is our battery replaced. We should find that turns on now. It does. There we go, and there's our logo. Good. Right, that is how you replace a battery on a HP Omen 17-W series. Hopefully that was helpful to you all. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.